Hey everybody, this is James Wilson with MTB Strength Training Systems at BikeJames.com, and today I want to share with you some simple exercises and things that you can use to combat low back pain that's brought on by riding. Now right off the bat I gotta say, if you have low back pain, you want to get that checked out, make sure you don't have some underlying issue, but if you're like most riders, you have this nondescript low back pain that no one can tell you exactly what's going on and why it is. And so if you fall into that category, then this routine may help provide some relief. So what we're going to do is try to loosen up the hips and teach you how to keep your core stable while moving from the hips. And what happens is a lot of time we lose that ability, and so we start using a lot of core movement instead of hip movement. So that's what we're going to address with this routine today. So first thing that you want to do is some soft tissue work, like some foam rolling. So you get a foam roller like this, it's $35. You can get one at performbetter.com. So the areas that you want to hit with the foam roller, around the hips especially, you want to hit the glutes. So you want to sit on your foam roller, you want to cross one leg, and whatever leg you've crossed, that's the side you kind of want to roll over and roll on that butt cheek. And so I suggest, doing like 10 to 20 rolls on each side with this one here. Another one that you want to get is the upper back, because that can contribute as well to what's going on at the hips. And so this will kind of help combat some of that forward sloping posture. So what I suggest doing is getting back on the foam roller, elbows back, supporting your head so you can relax your head, and then just rolling out from like right below your neck to right above the low back. And you want to kind of avoid that low back. So just rolling out like this a couple times. And then finally, another good area to hit is the front of the legs or the quads. So roll over, get on the front there, just rolling out. You can get over on one leg, like take one leg off. If you do that though, make sure you don't roll over to the side. You keep that front of the thigh. Again, like 10 to 20 strokes up and down on each side will work real well. So those are just some 3 general areas to hit. If you get a foam roller, I suggest experimenting and rolling around and trying, rolling out hamstrings and calves, and you can roll out a whole bunch of different areas. But those are 3 you definitely want to hit. So the next thing you want to do is start doing some stretching. We're going to open up the hip flexors a little bit with this one. So we're going to get down on one knee. We're going to do a hip flexor stretch. You're going to put one foot out in front of you a little bit. You want to put your hands on your hips and make sure that you're moving your hips forward and not kind of leaning back into this or just kind of like collapsing forward with the shoulders. So hands on the hips kind of helps put your mind at the hips. You want to squeeze the butt cheek of the trail leg. Push those hips forward. Squeeze that butt cheek as tight as you can for a count of 2, and then come back. And then again, squeeze that butt cheek. You get to that end range. Push as hard as you can into it, and then come back out. Make sure you're squeezing that butt cheek as tight as you can. So you're going to do 5 reps like that on each side. The next stretch you want to do is the tactical frog. And so with this one, you're going to get set up with your knees spread apart and your feet in line with your knees back behind you. So once you set up like this, turn to the side so you can see what it's looking like here. Once you get yourself set up, what you want to do, get down on your elbows, and think about trying to pull your butt back towards your heels, and then you can rock your hips forward a little bit. And then pull that butt back towards your heels, and then rock forward a little bit. Once you've done that a couple times, you're going to lift each leg. You're going to drop your hip down to the ground while keeping the knee bent, and twisting the leg up. And the twist is coming from the hips. It's real important that you make sure that you're twisting the leg up from here, dropping the hips down, instead of thinking about just trying to rotate the foot up. So a couple of those, and then again, pull the hips back and back to center. Pull those hips back and then back to center. And once you've done that a couple times, if you can, this may be a little tight for some people, but you're going to straighten your leg out, and then you're just going to rock back and forth. Keep that knee locked out, just rocking back and forth. You're going to do this a couple times on each leg. And then once you want to come out of this nice and careful. So you want to get your knee down to the ground and then bend the leg and come back, and then you go over to the other side. And then when you're done, come on out of this nice and easy. It's really going to open up the hips a lot. So good old tactical frog there. The next exercise we're going to do is, now that we've kind of addressed some soft tissue and we've opened up the hips a little bit, we're going to do a plank. And with this plank, what I want you to do is get the feeling of creating max tension in the core, because then we're going to teach you how to keep that feeling while moving at the hips with the next exercise. So for your plank, you're going to get down on the ground, elbows and toes. You want your elbows underneath your shoulders. Make sure you got your shoulders tucked down and back. You're going to squeeze your butt cheeks, draw your belly button in, and then get your core. Hold everything as tight as you can for a count of 10, and then you're going to come down. Reset, relax for a second, come back up, hold everything as tight as you can. And you're really trying to drill into your mind, burn into your mind that feeling of max tension right here in the core. So you're going to do 3 rounds of those 10-second pulses. And then finally, we're going to finish off with some touch-the-wall deadlifts. So now that you've got that sensation of a strong core, you're going to come over to a wall. You're going to stand 1 foot length in front of it. So get yourself set so you're 1 foot length out away from the wall. Now, get that core tight. You want to recreate that sensation that you felt on your plank. And then keep that sensation while you push your butt back towards the wall. Do not lose that tension in the core. And what you'll find is, a lot of times, as soon as you start moving, you'll realize, oh, I'm just relaxing the core. Part of my movement strategy is for me to relax the core and then start moving. And so once you start creating that tension in the core, you almost kind of have to relearn, how do I move and not compensate at the core there. So you want to do 10 to 20 reps of that touch-the-wall deadlift with your emphasis being at the core, and keeping that nice and tight and strong while you're driving those hips back, and then driving the hips back under you. So that's some basic stuff, and we're just opening up the hips, and we're just kind of reteaching you how to move from the hips instead of the core. And so once you do that, a lot of times your low back pain will start to get better, and actually for a lot of people go away once you're not using the low back to compensate for lack of hips. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and some of you guys find this helpful. Like I said, I've had success with this with my clients in the facility. And so again, if you don't have something, you've been to the doctor, you got checked out, and they said, well, we're not sure exactly what's wrong, what's going on with that, then give this routine a shot and it might help you out. So once again, it's been James Wilson with MTV Strength Training Systems. You guys can check me out on the web at bikejames.com, and I'll talk to you guys in my next tip.